Hi guys, this is Game Week Talks, and in this episode, we'll be talking about the games that's going to be happening in Game Week 2. And we have some amazing games in store for us, and especially the Chelsea versus Liverpool game. We'll just go straight into that. And Ani, what's your thoughts on it?
There is no question that's going to be the biggest game of the game week. But yes, I think there's been a really interesting build up to this fixture from last season, where there's been a small thing built up between Frank Lampard and Klopp. They've been talking a lot in the transfer market. They've been talking a lot in that game as well. So I'm expecting the start of a new rivalry between probably Klopp and Frank Lampard. It's going to be really interesting. I just want to see who comes out of on top. Now that Frank Lampard's got a bigger squad than what he had last season, it should be really interesting to see.
Yeah, but in terms of rivalry, I don't think it's that big of a rivalry.
Definitely, it's not going to be the biggest rivalry of the Premier League.
Think Klopp gives that much of attention to Lampard. He doesn't care what he says because he's achieved a lot more with Liverpool, and he just see what Lampard is doing as a tactic to get into his head. And I'm sure that Klopp is much more he's lot more experienced to know that not to care about what Lampard is saying. I know Lampard is doing these things, saying these things just to get into his head.
What really was interesting to see for me after the Anfield game was when Klopp started the whole fire between Frank and Lampard. It's not a big thing, but he was the one who started saying we can't spend like Chelsea, and then Frank Lampard retaliated to what he said. So I don't think so. Frank Lampard was to get into Klopp's head, and in terms of experience, Klopp is way more experienced than Frank Lampard.
And I'm not saying like it's wrong to get into a manager.
No, I know it's not wrong to get into it, but I don't think
it's
so.
All
Frank
part
Lampard
of the.
does that.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Yeah. Like in rivalry, people try to one up someone by talking about their club.
Right.
And I think the press would have asked something related to Chelsea, and that's why Klopp would have gotten Chelsea into the conversation. Right. I don't think he'll. But obviously, Liverpool couldn't have spent like Chelsea. So there's no.
There is a constant criticism of us spending a lot, and I get that. Obviously, it's not that. What I think Frank was hitting at Klopp was that it's not like they have not spent anything. They've also spent money. Is what they're saying. Obviously, we spent it in one transfer window, and they've spent it like two to three transfer windows. That's what I think Frank Lampard tried to tell. But
you guys have consistently spent a lot.
Yeah.
And Liverpool
there is no terms of comparison between Chelsea and Liverpool, who spent a lot. But what Frank Lampard, I thought, tried to tell was, you guys also spent a lot on Virgil van Dijk and players like those, and even Alisson like those. It's not like you guys haven't spent. So I think that's what he meant.
But what I feel with Klopp's signings were they spent money where it actually mattered for them. They needed a goalkeeper. They needed a world-class defender, and they bought it. They paid the money for that. But if you see, Robbo was bought for like 5 million. Like he didn't cost a lot. Even Mane was bought in for like 20 or 25 million. He didn't cost a lot. So their signings, they paid a lot for signings that actually strengthened them, and they they won a Champions League and a Premier League because of those two signings. And I don't think Chelsea's signings have Conte didn't.
Yes, over the last 2-3 seasons, after Conte season, I think we've been lashing out money left and right. I get that criticism and I take it, because we've been spending money on Timu and Bakayoko and your Danny Drinkwaters, and they've not even performed.
Yeah, you bought Barkley for 40 million. You bought
Barkley was
Kepa for 70 million, and they've all basically flopped. Right. They haven't strengthened you in any way. The people that have strengthened you the most are the people are like Conte, who you didn't spend a lot.
I really get that, and I think that's a fair criticism also, because over the period of 2016 to 18, I think there was a transfer window for us while we spent a lot of money. I don't think so. It was going into the right direction. A lot of players that were bought not the manager's players. They were bought just on the sake of we want the players it's there and we want to get them. But I think this transfer window is a kind of a different one to us because all the players we've got, it's like a manager's pick. It's their first choice pick. And I don't think so there should be any complaints from Frank Lampard saying this, I didn't ever wanted this player. So it's a really interesting window for this when you compare it to the last 2-3 seasons than what we've done.
Yeah. I'm just intrigued on how Lampard will shape up for this game. Is Ziyech fit for the match? Like if he's fit, I think he'll come back into the team.
I think while we are recording, we've not got the press conference of Lampard yet, and I've got some few training pictures, and I've not seen Ziyech train yet, but I've seen Chilwell and I've seen Thiago Silva train with the first team squad. But I think the press conference he gave for the Brighton game, he should be fit, but I think he'll be coming off the bench, but not starting the game is what I think. And will line up in a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. That's what I think.
So do you think like Thiago Silva will get his debut?
I don't think so. I don't think so he will start the game. I don't think so he should. Also, it's not. He's just come to London 2-3 days now, and he's just trained with the first team squad for 2-3 days again. If he does,
but he's been playing. He's been playing for a long time. I don't think, and a guy of his age and his experience.
I mean, yes, he's already. I think his tactical side of things, I think he should get that set. Because there must be a communication between the centre backs. He needs to build a little bit of. He needs to settle in with the first team squad a little bit more before he gets to experience a big game like this.
So, who would your your first 11 be for Chelsea?
Good question. It's going to be a really tricky one because I still think. Reece James. Reece James did score a goal and he got an assist, but I think he didn't have the best of games in the first 20-25 minutes. Then he came into the game well. If Azpilicueta is fit, I'd still start Azpilicueta for Reece James for his experience. Yes, I think Azpi was fit because he also came in the Brighton game in the last 20-25 minutes. And I feel Azpi should start on the right for us. And centre back, I don't think so. We should change our centre back from last game because they were solid. They looked solid also last game. And left back, we've got no options at the moment. Emerson, I don't think so, will get the start over Alonso. But so I think Alonso will stay in the left hand side.
Will Chilwell start though?
No, I don't think so. He's fit also yet.
Will he feature?
I don't think so. He will feature also. I don't think so. He will be in the squad. He will not be in the 15-man squad too. I feel that because he's still got the injury. He's got that niggle with, and I don't think so. Frank Lampard will, have him.
So will Frank Lampard experiment this time with Havertz playing on the right wing?
I think he should.
Last game.
With the press conference Havertz gave after the game, the interview after the game, I don't think so. Havertz should start this game. He should come off the bench again. He told that he was not fit yet. He was not yet ready. He was not fit. He felt tired. So I feel he should come off the bench, and I feel Mount should start ahead of him. Mount did start, and if you're gonna start a 4-3-3,
he should start.
I feel Kovacic is back for us, so I think Kovacic just comes into the midfield directly without any questions. So
Hudson will go on to the right.
I think Hudson should start. But I feel Hakim Ziyech. He wants Hakim Ziyech to play, and he's trained with us. He's been with us for a long time now. Hakim Ziyech has been with us for 6 months. He's without playing a first game. So I feel if he's fit, and I'm just waiting for the press conference. I think if he's fit, he will start on the right. Otherwise, my preferred lineup should be Hudson should be starting on the right. But the midfield, I think, should be Kante, Kovacic, and Mount without question. And I also feel Pulisic should start on the left. But I feel with the press conference he's given after the Brighton game, he's told that he's got an injury. He's gone back from the injury. It's not he's going forward. So if he's not going to start, I think then Mount will start on the left wing for us. And Barkley will start on the left of the midfield, and probably your Timo Werner will be starting as number 9 and coming off the left as usual.
Okay. So But whenever there's a Chelsea Liverpool match, there's this one guy called Mohamed Salah who always turns up and
Right.
scores a wonder goal, or
Yes.
he is often the difference
Mm.
between the two teams.
Right.
So he's surely the match winner. So how will you cope up with Mohamed Salah?
They have Salah, they have Trent, who always plays against us well. But if we manage to keep them quiet throughout the game, I think we might actually edge it, because Trent's confidence is shattered. I mean, I won't say shattered. It's he's not having the best of games in the first game week. But yes, if we manage to keep them quiet, I think we might come up with a victory.
Yeah, like Trent defensively, he has to
Mm.
work a lot, and with your attacking force and your
Mm.
speed,
Mm.
I think you can. When Leeds
Right.
did that to Trent, I think
Right.
your team should be able to do it. But
Yes.
Leeds, their entire team was on some other level. Like they were
Mm.
attacking, they were
I see.
pressing
Yeah, I
as
get
a
that.
team.
I mean,
Will Chelsea do that?
if Pulisic
Will
starts,
Chelsea
I
do
think
that?
he already did that against him in the Anfield game. He came off the bench and he had a what, 20 minutes, and he almost drew us the game single-handedly. So I think we have the quality. We have definitely are a better squad than Leeds if you compare it to them. There is no question. So I think we
Yeah.
should be able to, trouble their defense very easily with our attacking strength, and obviously Timo running towards them should be an interesting match against him and Van Dijk.
Yeah, Gomez didn't he looked he wasn't convincing against
Right.
Leeds. So if he starts and if he and Trent has a bad game,
Bad game.
then I think you can exploit that left side very well. But one side is Salah, another side there's Mane.
Right.
So he's also a big threat.
I mean,
So
Mane has always been a big threat, but I don't know if he's ever had a good game against us. Touchwood, he should not have one also. But yes, I don't think so. Mane has ever had a good game against Chelsea. But I think yes, there is a bigger threat. If both of them fails to score, there is always Firmino who scores against us. We've always had this bad omen where the striker who's not scored in a lot of games comes and scores against us. That
I
happened a
think it's
lot.
because of Kepa.
Yes, and it is because of Kepa, and it was also because of defense last season. It wasn't the best, but I feel this season it's been better.
But you're starting with the same defense, right? Don't you have the
We were
same two
experimenting with
defenders
a
up?
lot of things last season. We were starting with Tomori, and we were Zuma, but Andres Christiansen and Zuma looked a better pairing at the end of the season. So I feel they might stick and they might do well, because see, again, I'm not going to praise them overly, but with the defense that we had last season, even against Brighton, yesterday last game they looked very solid. They didn't let anything happen. So I feel if they are going to communicate well between themselves, they might have a very tough game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.